Good afternoon and thank you for keeping it TV47. Time for news now with me, Linda Alela. Here are the highlights. Clinical officers to down tools from Monday, citing unfulfilled promises by government. And Treasury CS John Buddy assures school heads of full disbursement of capitation funds, that is by Monday next week, in a bid to avert the looming crisis in schools.
The biggest threat to universal health coverage is the Social Health Authority team that he has put there, together with the extension of the cartel in the ministry and in the Kenya Medical Practitioners Council.
Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations boss Mohammed Amin once again failed to appear in court to explain the whereabouts of the Mlolongo 3 who were allegedly abducted. And news now begins right away, where the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers KUCOR has threatened to commence their planned nationwide strike, that is on the 19th of January 2025. That is if the government fails to address their concerns. Speaking in Nairobi, the clinical officer says the Ministry of Health has delayed in looking into increments of their monthly salaries. Take a look at that.
Wamekataza kwamba sisi kama maafisa tabibu hatuwezi kuendelea kutoa huduma kama ilivyokuwa kitambo, na kama vile sheria inavyosema wametukataza kupitia kukataza ama kusajili zile hospitali ambazo sisi ni zetu zaidi ya 1100, zote haziwezi fanya kazi kwa sasa ama kuwaona wagonjwa ambao wako kwa Social Health Authority. That is why we are telling the president that the biggest obstacle, the biggest threat to universal health coverage is the Social Health Authority team that he has put there, together with the extension of the cartel in the ministry and in the Kenya Medical Practitioners Council.
Look at the Social Health Authority program. Patients are not able to get outpatient services from a level 5 hospital with this insurance cover. And therefore, the private hospitals end up now offering these services to our patients. So we are a frustrated lot because we have patients who are suffering and they are not able to access care because we have not been allowed to offer services to patients who have been registered by the Social Health Authority.
The new cabinet secretaries for Agriculture and Livestock Development, Information, Communication and Technology, and as well as Trade and Investment, have finally been sworn in to take office after Parliament approved their nominations on Thursday. During the colourful ceremony to initiate the three Kenya Kwanza government, the head of state asked them to normalize patience with Kenyans and avoid corruption, as well as embracing austerity measures.
That already the digital and the ICT ecosystem adding value to what we produce and finding the routes on how this fertilizer is going to get to every farmer, and was a cabinet member in 2 previous administrations. Abilities, these cabinet secretaries are very well equipped to mobilize them, causing the clog-up of tea at the port of Mombasa, when they were elected to the 9th Parliament, and Honorable Lee Kinyanjui later.
Congratulations to the newly appointed. Now we have the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja and Director of Criminal Investigations, that is Mohammed Amin, once again failed, that is to appear in court, that is to explain whereabouts of Justus Mutumwa, Martin Mwau and Karani Mwema, who were allegedly abducted. Instead, the 2 top cops are now seeking orders requiring their attendance in court over the alleged disappearance of the trio. Justice Chacha Mwita has directed that they produce the 3 men in court today, whether dead or alive, and also appear in court personally over the same. But the top police brass told Judge Mwita they were not aware of the orders of the court, as the same was not served on them. Through Advocate Paul Nyamodi, the duo say there is no proof of service that's on record as required by law. And Advocate Dunstan Omari on the other side said that they were not served with prejudices his client.
My Lord, there is an absurdity in that position. One, the National Police Service is not a party to these proceedings. Secondly, my Lord, the National Police Service is present almost everywhere in this country. If service on an officer of the National Police Service would then be deemed to be proper if that was the manner in which the email address was obtained, then untold havoc would be told. As was captured in the Sifuna decision, the email service is envisaged to be personal.
The stories we have heard from the others who are abducted, they have indicated that they are held in places where they were beaten up, dark rooms, somewhere within Nairobi, and then later on they felt that they were transferred to a military installation to recover, and where they were treated better so that they could access. We are aware some people have been found dead, and others have disappeared completely. I am really pleading with the government and with the security officers. It is, the Constitution demands that whoever is in charge of security, the biggest responsibility goes to the President.
And the Council of Governors now says it will move to court to challenge a directive from the Controller of Budget stopping county governments from disbursing bursaries. They're insisting they remain appraisive of national government. And in a strong message telling off the Controller of Budget, that is Margaret Nyakango, the Rakanithi governor, who is the boss, Ojuki, that is on matters health, told mourners at Munga Catholic Church over resolved by the Council of Governors to move to court to reserve the directive. Consequently, the COG accuses the Controller of Budget of arbitrarily changing the law at will, considering she is issuing such orders when the funds have already been budgeted for.
Kwa sababu controller wa budget kuanzia juzi amesema hakuna shilingi hata moja atapitisha pale kwa controller wa budget ili kaunti wapeane basari. Hiyo amefunga. Na tumesema kabla tujaenda kotini, kwa sababu haki yetu ni kwenda kotini. Na tutaenda kotini kusema hivi. Kusema kwamba ile basari tunapeana tukiwa county atupei mashule. So we are not performing the roles of the national government. Wanasema tukilipia mwanafunzi fees ambaye hapa Chohori ya gas tunafanya kazi ya national government. Mimi sijapea shule ya Chohori ya boys pesa ya kujenga class, sijawapatia pesa ya kupika, sijawapatia pesa ya kufanya kitu kingine chochote, lakini Gasheri ile amezaliwa kijiji ya Mungu, hiyo ni kazi yangu nikiwa governor, nipatie pesa aende shule ahitimu akuwe daktari. Kweli ya Moroko. Kwa hivyo haiwezi kuwa kusema kwamba Gasheri na Gitonga ambaye wako kwa kijiji na wanataka kusomeshwa. Hiyo ni kazi ya national government. We are not interfering with the national government function. Tunafanya kazi ya kuinua wananchi wapi? Na kama tulipitisha sheria tukiwa county assembly. Hiyo basari imekuwa ikipeanwa tangu controller wa budget anakuja. Ile budget tumepitisha juzi. Huyo controller wa budget alipitisha na tukapeana basari last year. Nini imebadilika saa hii ambaye anasema kwamba hatuwezi peana basari? Hiyo ndio anasema ni siasa.
Treasury is set to release 48.8 billion Kenyan shillings capitation funds to public schools next week. According to Cabinet Secretary John Badi, the delay in releasing the funds, that is to schools before opening last week, was due to debt servicing by the government. but he made the announcement just one day after the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, GOPET, issued a 7-day ultimatum to the Ministry of Education to release the capitation funds. GOPET Deputy Secretary General Moses Nturima has threatened that failure to release the funds will then culminate in the union advising the school heads to close the schools and send the learners home.
The reason why we have not released capitation is because this month we had to pay 70 billion loan to external borrowers, which now we have completed paying this week. Next week we are releasing 48 billion shillings for capitation. So schools, please don't panic. Teachers, don't panic. School managers, don't panic. Next week, Treasury will release 48.8 billion, which is 50% of this year's budget, to fund our education system. We believe that education system is critical and important, a social function. And then after that, I will release money to the counties. That will be the next priority item. We will release 31 billion to counties so that our counties are also continue to function effectively. After that is when I will start paying salaries, which will also take 75 billion shillings.
A section of Kenyans drawn from opposition has questioned President William Ruto's government's ability to promote human rights agenda in Africa, that is following the recent abductions sarcasm. And speaking here in Nairobi this morning, the Bunge la Mwananchi group boss questioned what image the country portrays to rest or through the rest of Africa's continent while campaigning for ODM leader Raila Odinga to the AU seat, yet have failed to address human rights violations and upholding the rule of law.
Out of his career in the biggest court in the world, mbona mnashangaa abduct?
Minister mzima anasema eti president ndiye alipiga simu, mtoto wake alikuwa abducted, mpaka mtoto wake akawachiliwa. Inamaanisha nini? President huyo mtu akiabductiwa, president alikuwa anajua ameadaptiwa na anapelekwa wapi. So it's evident it's the government which abducting our people, our children, and we won't accept that. Sisi wenyewe tumekuwa kwa media tukisema, tukikemea maneno. Mwingine anataka kusimama AU. Si tunamtakia kila laheri. Lakini sasa mimi naulizaje, utatakaje kuguard Afrika mzima ili hali violations za human rights zimeanzia kwa country yako? Hauwezi toa kitu kwa macho ya mtu mwingine kama jicho yako umeshindwa kuitoa. Hautaniambia utaenda kufagia nyumba ya mwenzako na yako umeshindwa kufagia. Tuambiane tu ukweli. Kama mmeshindwa na Kenya, Afrika ndio utawezana nayo.
Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki Friday held an engagement with Embu County leaders and grassroots opinion shapers on the county's development priorities for revitalization of critical value chains and citizen empowerment programs. The DP used the platform to assure the leaders that the government is keen to ensure each part of the country gets development irrespective of their political standing.
Unajua shida ya hii dunia ni kitu inaitwa kiburi. Watu wengi wako na kiburi. Wanajiona wao ndio first and last. Au ndio, yani everybody else ni mtu mjinga. Ya? Sisi, Mungu ametujalia saa hii tumefika hapa. Hatungefika hapa bila Mungu. It is the grace of God. It will be the height of irresponsibility on arrival here to start planning, conniving, and jostling around for, I don't know, some imaginary political space, I don't know for when. That will be the height of responsibility. Now, I am not worried about the political environment, not just in Embu, Tharaka Nithi, in any part of the country. It doesn't worry me. What is occupying my mind now, every day, and what is making me lose sleep is the issue that I am deputy president today. What is it that I'm going to do as long as I'm in this position?
All right, Daniel Simiyu and Sheila Chelagat emerged victorious during the 2025 National Police Service Cross Country. That is the championship held at Ngong Racecourse here in Nairobi. And Simiyu from Rift Valley clinched victory in the men's 10-kilometer race ahead of Maibei Kiplimo and Robert Kiprop. Chelagat secured the women's 10-kilometer title after beating Susie Chebet and Lynette Masai. Paris Olympics champions Beatrice Chebet the same.
Season yangu vizuri. Nilianza na season ya 2025, nilianza na cross Seville na nikakuja Elgoiba. So far nasema season nimekuwa mzuri.
If I go back to the track, it's like I am doing a sin to myself, and I said I can't go back. So it's like going back in my community is like a taboo. Yes, so I need to focus. Yeah.
And I want to thank the athletes who have flown our flag very high all over the world. And many a times, many people do not appreciate that these are men and women who are serving in our National Police Service and some in the military, and they are doing a fantastic
16 minutes past the top of the hour. That's the match we had for you, but you can be sure that the editorial team is working tirelessly to ensure that they give you more updates on the subsequent bulletins. My name is Linda Alela. Do have yourself a lovely afternoon. This is where we close News Now.